Federal Drive is presented by GEHA, Government Employees Health Association, proudly providing health and dental benefits to federal employees and their families. Visit GEHA.com.
The Postal Service generally pays its own bills through its own revenue. That's been the way it's operated for more than 50 years. But the agency is floating the possibility of Congress stepping in to provide more financial assistance to keep them from running out of cash early next year. Federal News Network's Jory Heckman is here with more details. Jory, thanks for joining me.
Hey, Terry. Great to be here.
Hey, the Postal Service has had cash problems for years now. They've talked about all kinds of challenges. What's new?
What's new is that there is a plan forward, or perhaps several paths being proposed here. This is all coming from the USPS Postmaster General, David Steiner. Last week was the rollout of the agency's second quarter financial results, and usually that is a pretty pro forma meeting. They say, here's how much money we lost, here's how much mail we delivered. But this had a little bit more substance to it. This was Steiner, one, recognizing that, as he's told lawmakers already, that the Postal Service is close to running out of cash and will get close to that financial cliff sometime in early 2027. That's if USPS pays all of its bills, and it has relied on some extraordinary measures to avoid running out of cash and has been delaying some of its bills. But Steiner really did float a couple of options, largely for Congress to consider for the short-term future, what lawmakers could do to step in and help the Postal Service out.
What is the Postmaster General proposing as far as changes to the Postal Service business model?
Well, the way he describes it, USPS and lawmakers could go down one of two paths here. Option one would be USPS not really getting any additional financial assistance from Congress. What this would mean is that lawmakers, the ask would be that they would eliminate some of the mandates that ensure USPS loses money. This is coming from Steiner. This would mean giving USPS greater flexibility to close unprofitable post offices, slash days of delivery, and reduce service standards, all while having more flexibility to raise prices for its monopoly mail products and for packages. And Steiner says this is something that would certainly have some drawbacks. Days of delivery being cut has been something that has been a third rail for USPS in the past. Other postmasters general have proposed it. It has been swiftly rejected by Congress and the public. But he says that that's just one way they could go down. And option two is Congress giving the agency more robust funding than what it has been getting. And this would be USPS getting somewhere in the neighborhood of $460 million annually. They get about a tenth of that amount for a program for people who are legally blind to send and receive certain items in the mail for free. And so USPS has kind of gotten this nominal appropriations for years and years, but they're asking for substantially more if they go down this Plan B route, and this would be what's called a public service reimbursement.
Either of those getting any kind of positive reaction from folks on the Hill?
Well, we haven't heard anything from them just yet. Steiner did say that this is somewhat preliminary, that they are working on a congressional wish list for really the rest of this month, and that they're going to have something a little more formal brought to lawmakers after that time. So this is just Steiner kind of giving a heads up of what to expect. There's no official plans for anyone to contemplate, but this is kind of a crossroads for USPS. They have been dealing with financial problems for a while now, somewhat in the neighborhood of 15 years or so, where they've been posting these pretty substantial net losses every year. That's a product of the fact that USPS is delivering less mail than it used to. It's its most profitable product, the first-class mail, and that has been in free fall. This is something that has been seen year-over-year declines, but what we saw in 2008 is that the recession had a big acceleration effect on mail declines, and the COVID-19 pandemic likewise has had a similar effect to mail volume, that just it goes down faster and it doesn't come back. So these are the options that USPS is laying out here.
And it sounds like the Postal Service would require congressional engagement to change any of this. Any chance that they could turn it around on their own?
The USPS is saying there's really not that much likelihood of that succeeding. To give you an example, USPS did report losing seeing a $2 billion net loss for the second quarter of fiscal 2026. And they saw similar results in the first quarter of fiscal 2026. That's usually the best quarter that they have because that reflects the business that they do every peak holiday season. So also, USPS is midway through its 10-year reform plan. Under that plan, the goal was to get to a break-even point, and so far they have gotten far below the target.
So besides money and flexibility, what else does the USPS want from Congress?
Well, there have been a couple of things on its wish list for a while, and they've been pretty vocal about that. First things first, they want a greater borrowing limit from the Treasury Department. They have currently maxed out their $15 billion line of credit with the Treasury Department. They say that they need more money, like any business would, a greater line of credit to do the kinds of infrastructure upgrades that they are focused on, buying a next generation delivery vehicle fleet, modernizing some of the facilities across the country, largely with the goal of getting efficiencies in there, doing more with less, and being able to deliver a greater volume of packages and compete with private shippers like Amazon and UPS. One other thing here is that they're also asking for Congress to give them greater flexibility to invest their retirement funds in. Currently, they are limited to only investing those funds in low-risk, low-reward Treasury bonds. This is something that the Inspector General has looked at closely, and they found that if USPS was able to invest its funds in an even mix of bonds and stocks, like other agencies are able to, that they would actually be in a very different financial situation. They'd actually have a $800 billion surplus in that retirement fund.
Well, it sounds like there's lots to watch here and lots of discussion yet to come.
A lot to come, for sure.
That's Federal News Network's Jory Heckman. Jory, thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Terry.
You can find the full story at federalnewsnetwork.com.